This is a very important part of getting tension-free closing. You see that nerve again? You're staying out and above it. Look. Everybody see that? It's still there, and it's going to go down and forward. So you're going to take a look at it. Never go down. Never go down and forward. Always go sideways towards the cheek, and then only behind it, you can go ahead and do a normal release. You can see all I'm doing is using a very, very light pressure to release this flap.
Point your camera down just a little bit further. There you go. Perfect.
Okay? So this is the release. You see those fibers? You're just following those fibers and you're releasing it. And by the way, one of the reasons that it's so important to make a larger flap is that the larger the flap, the more vascularity, and it also allows you to get more distension. Look at what we can do with this flap now. I can actually cover the posterior teeth. So once I release the flap, and I've done it above the nerve, you see that right here, it did not restrict me being able to close. Now what I can do is take this membrane and I will just lay it down over the graft. And what is the good thing about this membrane that I like? What am I doing right now? I'm sculpting it because it's drapable. The membrane is a drapable membrane. Once I put it in position, now if I want to place another tack, you can. If this was a regular membrane, I would have to, but take a look down here. It's lost a little bit of its hydration, but look how it adapts itself. Does everybody see that?
Yes.
I mean, look, it's all the way down on bone, and all I have to do is use a little bit of water, and I just mold it down over the graft. Okay, now what's the suture I'm going to use? What's the first suture after I release my flap? Horizontal mattress, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. This is a horizontal mattress. Oh, one more thing. Sorry. One more thing. If I'm going to release the lingual flap, how do you release a lingual flap? Wet finger dissection. You never want to release the flap, so you go full thickness. And then in this area, once you get beyond the mucogingival junction on the lingual, you never release, you never do a normal release on the lingual. You're going to do a wet finger, and you're going to run a wet finger and release it under the mylohyoid. So in the mucosa on the lingual, you never go in with a sharp dissection, never with a blade, never try to split that area, because that's where the lingual nerve is, that's where the arteries are. You can cause a lot of damage, you can perforate. You just want to go in underneath that mylohyoid ridge with a wet finger glove. Typically I'll put my pinky in there and I'll just release that lingual flap to get it released enough for me to get closure. So wet fingered, okay, just as you're using the wet finger, you see this right here? Look at these fibers. I'm just trying to reenact it here a little bit. You see these fibers being released? Everybody see that?
Yes.
I'm just going in there and using a wet finger. Look at this. Everybody see that?
Yes.
I had a very famous periodontist from Italy that used to tell me that when you do this, the flap, it can fly. Right, Henry? And you see how I release it with my finger? Everybody see that flap now?
Yes.
All of that been released with what? Just a wet finger. All right? Now, you're not going to get as much reflection of your lingual flap as you would your buccal flap, obviously, but you will get a little bit. Look at this. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, so now when I go to suture, between dissecting both flaps, I can get tremendous amount of closure. And I can close it, and we'll do that with the suture right now. So how do I do it? This is the horizontal mattress suture. This is a classic GBR approach that you just saw. I always put your suture in keratinized gingiva, and you want it to be at least 3 or 4 millimeters from the margin of your incision. Everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. I can't see the screen, so if you guys can tell me. If you can't, then JK can adjust the lights for you. You're then going to go ahead and come through on this side, again trying to keep it in attached gingiva, or right at the margin of the attached gingiva. I'd rather have it in keratinized tissue. So everybody see that right there?
Yes.
Okay. When I come back through, I'm gonna be about 5 millimeters, 6 millimeters from the original purchase point. So here's your horizontal, right? Now when you do your horizontal suture, you want to come out about equidistant. So here's the horizontal component. Everybody see that?
Yes.
That's a horizontal mattress suture. Now when I tie it, what is it going to do? It's going to evert my incision line. So as I come through, I go ahead and as I tie, look what's happens to the flap. Okay? What does it do? It everts that incision line. That's what you want. Okay? Because now your sutures over the top of that are going to be used to do just one thing, and that's just to coapt the flap. And you can use running mattress sutures. Thank you. You can use a running mattress suture if you'd like, and I'll show you just that, how to close, just for a second. Or you can use regular interrupted sutures, but I'll show you a little suture that can be used that's kind of easy to do. This is just what I like to call a baseball stitch, if you will. And I'll just show you how I do it. Oh, did I just bump it? Sorry.
You actually made it better.
Did I?
Yeah.
All right, there you go. You don't want to cut that yet. Yeah. Okay. So I did my first stitch. I'm going to come in here like this and go through again like this. Now when I come through, I'm going to show you just an easy way, at least for me. Everybody has a different method. You see this loop here? You can cut that small end right there. So get that out of the way. Right. Okay. Okay. Everybody sees this right here. What I typically will do is I will cross it, and you just want to come through here.
Okay, before you do that, can you cross it again? The light kind of flickered.
Oh, right here? Yeah, just taking this. You make a figure eight. See this here?
Uh-huh.
You just twist it
Okay.
and put it through. You don't have to do it with your fingers. You can do it with, I just want to show it to you. You can do it with, and then you just tighten it like that.
Then you passed it through the superior loop.
Yep. The superior loop, correct. I make a figure eight and pass it through the superior loop. So let's do it one more time.
So that locks it in.
That locks it in. So now you can go across and look how much quicker. But remember, I'm not depending on this suture to do what? I'm not depending on it to do my closer. See, I flip it. If everybody looking, I flip it, I go through the top, and I pull. And then I tighten. Everybody saw that? Okay, now I could just run it across now. So as I do that, and you can always go back and tighten it some more. It's not an issue. It's a cross-link continuous suture.